Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pomerium live stream. Just gotta turn my music down that nobody can hear, so I can hear myself. Looks like I started the template with a different template because it didn't sync to go to the next screen and stuff, but whatever. Yeah, so we're live here on the Pomerium live stream. Today we're talking about MCPs and the native support that's in Pomerium. So I think you'll enjoy this stream, one, if you just want to learn about MCP support in Pomerium, but also if you're still new to MCPs, we're going to dig into some stuff, all things MCPs. So yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, so let me go ahead here and share my screen. I would share my music with you, but then I think we'd get a takedown from YouTube and maybe other places. So unfortunately, no, but just know it's a pretty awesome list. Okay, so we're talking about MCP support in Pomerium, and we're going to go through, we've been calling them blueprints, but basically, for folks who are new to Pomerium, we can go there first, actually. And let me just go ahead and grab some links here. Okay, where's the Willa chat? Okay, here we go. So here's a link to the docs for MCP if folks want to check that out. But before we get into MCPs, yeah, let's just go back just a little bit, and we're going to talk about what Pomerium is kind of out of the box. If overview, that would help. Okay, so still not my favorite looking diagram, but it gets the point across. So essentially, Pomerium is something called an identity-aware proxy. And this is something that comes out of Google. They had this massive security breach back in, I don't know, like 2009 or 2010. Anyways, they came up with a new security model called Zero Trust Security. And part of that is something called an identity-aware proxy. And it's basically like for a user, like if you're accessing some kind of web resource, this doesn't look any different to a user if they were just logging into a site. They're going to see the similar flow. They go to a identity provider like a Google, Okta, whatever. They log in and they can either access something or they can't. But what's happening under the hood with an identity-aware proxy is a little different. So you have the identity provider over here. And this is, like I said, it could be Google, Okta, GitHub, whatever you're using. And here's user, that's you, you're on the internet. So you're not on a VPN here. You're just like, you can be anywhere on the internet. You could be in the basement, you could be on a train, who knows? Just use your imagination, I guess. But essentially, you're saying like, I want to access some website, or we'll just go with the example of a web resource. And we'll say like, I don't know, trying to access the employee portal for my company. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And assuming you're logged in, it's going to hit something called a policy engine. And the policy engine is what allows or denies you to continue to go to the actual internal service. So from the outside, it might be like employeeportal.awesomecompany.com. Internally, it's some IP address or some internal name on some port. So you've logged in, it's going to check, okay, Nick is an employee. Okay, perfect. His email checks out. So that's a policy. It's a simple one, but a lot of people use this policy, just checking like the email domain. So it's like, okay, Nick's logged in and he's got an employee email domain name. So we're going to let him through. So the policy checks pass. And then at that point, you go through a reverse proxy, which we use Envoy under the hood, which is a CNCF battle-tested, mature, and since graduated project. And the reverse proxy is what just takes you to the actual resource. That's the whole flow. But it's not just a one-time thing. It's literally every request is always validated. And the reason why you can do that is because this is always self-hosted. This is in your internal infrastructure, and Pomerium will sit at your network's edge. I'm not going to go too much deeper there, but that's essentially the flow. Now, why am I mentioning all this? Because basically Pomerium can act as an MCP gateway. So if we come back here, so we can basically protect MCP servers. That whole flow I just mentioned with the policy engine and with the reverse proxy, all of that applies to a remote MCP server because it's just literally a web server, so a web resource. But there's some nice things that we do for you with Pomerium in terms of being your MCP gateway. And the big thing in terms of, I think this is like a huge DX win. So like if you're building MCPs, you don't have to worry about OAuth. And what I mean by that is that whole login flow that I mentioned about Pomerium being an identiware proxy and you're going, through Google or Okta or whatever. That's literally the OAuth flow for you for your MCP server. And we handle that for you. You just get that out of the box. There's some configuration we'll go through shortly. I'm going to go through a bunch of things, but essentially you configure, they're called routes. And the routes we're going to use for MCPs are going to have like some additional properties to indicate that they are an MCP. So basically, you can build your MCP without having to latch on to like, oh, I've got to implement all the OAuth stuff. And the other thing is, like say you did implement all that stuff, you're going to have to do it for the next MCP server and the next one. And in your org, and sure, you'll probably have a template or something, but then you got to keep the template up to date. Or maybe some people don't use a template and they're both, secured, they both have an OAuth flow, but maybe it's implemented differently. So a couple of things. We take away that headache for you. We just handle it for you. And it's using your same identity provider that you'd be using at your organization anyways. So in terms of MCP gateway, you get this uniform security posture because everything's flowing through the identiware proxy. Okay, so let's first talk about like if we're going to develop MCPs. Now, I'm going to assume people are somewhat familiar with MCPs, but essentially an MCP is something that can enhance your context. It's a model context protocol. So like when you make a call to like, let's go to chat GPT and let's see here, which ones do I have set up right now? Okay. So I've got a GitHub MCP configured right now. I'll show you later how you can do this in ChatGPT or Claude, but basically in ChatGPT, this is how you kind of reference an MCP. It should be able to pick it up as well, but I can say at GitHub, show me my 5 most recent repos. So while this is going on, this is my agent effectively. The agent has a harness, which is ChatGPT here. It's calling an LLM. The LLM knows a ton of stuff, but up until a certain date, because like obviously it got trained at a certain point and the data it was using, who knows, let's just say a year ago. So it doesn't know anything about my latest GitHub repos or anything. It might know some of mine from like 2024 and before. So we're going to use an MCP to enhance the context. So I'm asking my agent here, I'm saying, get my 5 most recent repos, repositories, and it's going to go, I don't have that. So there's this MCP that's giving me tools, and it's going to go call GitHub, and it's going to get the information I need, and then I can present it to the user. And in this case, it's just putting the list here. But then at this point, the agent has this additional information now. So it can maybe answer stuff differently for me now that it has more information. I could dig into this more, like which one, I don't know, which one is TypeScript and so on. And essentially, you've just added this context to that the LLM can use. Other things you can do with an MCP is, aside from just getting additional context, it can do things on your behalf. So I could say at GitHub, create a new repo called MCP Blueprints live stream test. And so now I'm in the LLM. It's calling a tool for my MCP. Okay, so the repository does not exist, but the connected login currently has no. Okay, I might have added something to restrict that, but okay, so that's a bad example. But anyways, the point is, I'll look at that after. But you can either use it to enhance the context, you can use it to do things on your behalf, or it could be both. So that's essentially what's awesome about MCPs. And also with OAuth, you can gate stuff. So like, you know, organizations don't necessarily want just anybody to access internal information. So adding OAuth to the MCP spec was important with that. We support this, like I mentioned, and that's just kind of like a quick TLDR of MCPs. So now we're going to dig into what can you do with it. So we can protect an MCP server. So essentially, we've got the OAuth flow here, like I said. So like this is basically what I was just talking about. Assuming you get logged in and then the policy checks pass, you're going to get logged in, policy checks pass, you go through the proxy, and then you get to the actual MCP server. And this is something important to note. Like if I am not allowed access to the MCP server, I never even get to the internal network. So that's important. Okay, so in an identity-aware proxy, there's something called routes, and routes are, just think of them like web URLs. There's other kinds of routes too, like SSH and stuff. But for the most part, today we're doing MCPs. So you basically say like, this is going to be my MCP server, and assuming this policy where it says, you know, the domain is for the email is in company.com and the person is logged in, I'm actually going to go to this MCP server, which is sitting in my infrastructure somewhere. With MCPs, you just have to add an additional property here called MCP, and you have to say this is an MCP server, and this is empty for now. We'll talk about upstream OAuth after, but this is kind of the main part here that we need to care about right now. And we'll look into other stuff shortly. So one other thing I want to mention is when you're developing an MCP, you might want to be running it on your local host. So let's come over here. I got a bunch of things open. Okay, so let's stop everything here. Okay, let me zoom in a bit here. So I have a repository here. I'll go ahead and share it. Just if people want to go ahead and use this. This is a TypeScript MCP template I made a while ago. I think it's pretty solid. If you're building an MCP with TypeScript, I encourage you to go ahead and fork it, clone it, whatever, and PR is welcome as well. And if you happen to find it useful, go ahead and give it a star. So this local MCP, I'm going to go ahead and run here. So I'm just going to do npm run dev. And this is going to start an MCP server on my local host. And we can just take a peek in here real quick. Don't save. Okay. I won't go through all the files here, but essentially, with an MCP, you're going to register some tools. So I have two here. I have an echo tool down here and an elicit echo. Elicit echo just means it's going to use something in MCP called elicitation. So the agent you're running this in, if it supports this, will ask you, what do you want to say? Like, what do you want to echo? But let's just look at the anatomy here of a tool. So essentially it has a name. And obviously this is just a description and a title of what it is. We're using Zod here. We're in TypeScript land, but there's an input schema, so it's expecting a message and it's required, and it outputs over here something called echo, and it's required this output, and it's a string as well. Won't go too much into Zod or anything, it's a little out of scope, but essentially it's a really good validation library. And there's something else with MCPs, they're called annotations. So these are things to let the agent that is going to be using it, or the MCP client, which a lot of agents are these days, it tells you what it is. So this is saying this MCP tool is read-only, meaning it can't write anything. It's just only going to return you information. It's always going to return you the same thing. So idempotent. So like I always say hello, it's always going to echo hello. And I'm trying to remember what open world is again. I forget at the moment, but essentially that's pretty much it. And then it's going to call this echo function, and we can just go to this real quickly. But essentially, I'm going to send this logging message. This is using the MCP TypeScript SDK. And it's just going to go ahead and log this message. And we'll go ahead and see this in a second. So this is up and running. My voice just cracked. I'm 13 again. Okay. So if we come back here to the terminal, so my MCP server is running. Now, obviously, a couple things. This is not on the public internet right now. This is literally running on localhost. Like if I just come here and go curl HTTP localhost 3000 MCP, it's just going to tell you, hey, I'm an MCP and I have my capabilities or tools. So this is running, but it's on localhost. So typically what you want to do is you want to be able to have a tunnel maybe, and everybody develops differently. So maybe you build the MCP and then you only want to tunnel your finished thing near the end. Maybe you do it at the beginning. That's really just a preference. But basically you want a tunnel. So I'm going to go ahead and start a tunnel. That's not it. And this is something that Pomerium supports. So basically, I'm using native SSH here. Side note, but Pomerium supports native SSH. There's no additional software. And here I'm going to start a reverse SSH tunnel. And the server it's going to hit this is a Pomerium route. We support native SSH, like I said, and it's running on port 2200. I can show you that in a sec, but basically I'm going to start this up, and you're going to see here that I have a tunnel running, and I have this link I created. I can zoom this down one, maybe, or two. There we go. So we can see here it's, okay, I can copy it. Anyways, let's put it back up. So I can copy this URL, and essentially this is going to show the activity as we tunnel. So you can see here right now, I've got the localhost running here, port 3000, and it's available here at this URL. So I'm going to go ahead and come to MCP Jam. You can use the MCP inspector as well. I'm just happening to be running this in MCP Jam today. So I'm going to go ahead and connect here, and let's do it fresh, actually. Let's do this. Let's add a server, and we'll call it local tunnel or something, local tunnel for MCP. I'm going to put the URL /MCP here, and it can auto detect, but I know it's OAuth. And I'm going to say, go ahead and add that server. Now it's going to be connected now. Okay. So let's go ahead here. And if you've never used MCP Inspector or MCP Jam, essentially they're really great ways to test out your MCP server without having to burn any tokens. So let's go to the playground here. And you're going to see here, I have two tools available now. And those two tools are literally the tools we have defined up here. Yeah. So we got elicit echo here, and we've got echo. So let's come back here and let's call the echo tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a message. I'll just say MCPs are awesome, and I'm going to go ahead and run it. So this is going to test the tool. It's going to say, okay, you made a tool call, you passed in this MCPs are awesome, and I'm just going to echo it out so we can see here. So the tool is already working. Now, the thing I want to stress here is we're doing this through the tunnel. So I have a public URL now, and I can use it in MCP Jam, but I could also go into ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and go there. And I know there's other tunneling options. There's like Cloudflare, VS Code. I'm sure there's ngrok, whatever. This is open source. This comes with Pomerium, so it's a pretty good option. And the reason why it's a little different too is because it has OAuth out of the box, even when you tunnel. So, but to be clear, the tunneling is not what makes it secure. It's the policies, and I'll show you this in a sec. But let's just go ahead and add this connector. They've moved it all around, so it's under plugins now. I think I might have already configured this, but let's go take a peek here. Did I create it already? Let's see. Let's create a new one. We'll call it, just going to call it tunnel. And I'm going to put the URL, and it's OAuth, and I'm going to say accept. It might say this server URL already exists. I'm not sure. I did this before. Okay. So just to reiterate, I'm running this on my local host. I'm going through a reverse SSH tunnel, Pomerium, and now I'm about to go through an OAuth flow. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I'm already logged in through Pomerium, so you're not going to see a login screen, but you're going to see it finish the flow, and it's going to say, hey, you're connected. And so now I have some information here. It says, okay, it's connected. This is what the URL is. Can zoom that in a bit. I'm going to go ahead and refresh, and it's going to get some more metadata about this. And in a second, we should see, here's the tools, and it gives you the input schema and everything. So we have our tunnel thing now here. So let's go ahead and let's just do a new chat, and let's say at tunnel echo yo. And let's see if I can bring this over here. Or let's shrink this a bit, and let's bring this here. So we're gonna see some activity. I'm gonna say tunnel, call your echo tool with yo. You should see some activity in here. So this is the tunnel TUI, terminal user interface. It's gonna start thinking, and you see it's opening and closing in the tunnel. So it's actually talking to my thing here, and you can see here there was some stuff, tool executed, echo. So it's literally running on my local host. The tunnel, that's what it's going through, and we can see the activity here. So let's just make this bigger again, and let's come back here. So that's cool. Now let's try that other one. Ask me what I want to echo. It should be able to figure out that I'm trying to elicit an echo. It should say calling elicit echo, hopefully. Okay, maybe we could just say this. Sometimes it's hard, but call elicit echo tool. It's kind of annoying when you have to tell it specifically, but let's see here. Okay, it says it doesn't support it. Okay, whatever. Maybe ChatGPT doesn't. I don't know. But we saw that the tunneling tool works. Okay, so that's kind of like the first part. It's you can tunnel your stuff, run it locally, test it in MCP Jam or MCP Inspector. Going through the tunnel, you can even use it in an MCP client / agent like ChatGPT or Claude. And let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So it should be, yeah, okay, cool. Let's zoom this in a bit, and let's do cat. Okay, so let's take a peek here. This is a Pomerium config. You know what? Let's actually not cat it. Let's do VI so we get some color. Hey, Fuzzy, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. Cool. So this is the Pomerium configuration, and everything I'm showing you today, we're going to be doing through the open core version. There is other versions. There is Pomerium 0, which is kind of like a self-serve kind of platform. That's something you can definitely use as well too. And there's also enterprise, and you'll know if you need enterprise. Basically, if you got a lot of stuff going on, you probably need enterprise. So I'm just going to go over a few things here, and I'm going to remove a few things because this is legacy. Don't need that. Okay. Yeah, no. So in terms of Vim, like I'm not a Vim guru. Still learning some shortcuts. But usually when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'm in Vim. So yeah, definitely would welcome an upgrade. I've been using this lately, actually, for at least the Gentic herder. This is super nice. So you got panes here. It's just super nice, and you get some activity down here. It tells you when you're blocked, it beeps and stuff, but we're not doing that right now, so let's close that. Okay, so let's just talk about a few things here. If you want to have that tunneling, you have to use this runtime flag here called SSH upstream tunnel. All right, that should be big enough. Some other things here. There's CIMD, so this is client ID meta document. We can just go with show what that is. CIMD MCP. This is it. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and drop a link to this. Yeah, herder is awesome. So there used to be something called dynamic client registration. It's been deprecated in MCP. And the new thing is called CIMD, so it's client ID meta documents. And so stuff like ChatGPT or Claude or VS Code, Goose, even MCP Jam, which I discovered I added theirs just before. Essentially, they allow you to do this a lot easier now. So no pre-registration necessary or anything here. They just identify themselves with this meta document, and so that's what this is. So there's this array here, and I can prove this to you. So let's go ahead here, and we're in ChatGPT right now. So let's just comment that one out. Escape right. Actually, I'm not sure if that will break the YAML array, so let's just delete it. Okay. All right, so we were in ChatGPT a second ago here, so let's go ahead and start a new conversation. Echo yo. Now it should give an error saying something along the lines like not supported. Watch it work even though I switched that. Maybe it didn't apply yet. Here, all right. Oh, it's because I have the other one there still, OpenAI. Sorry. Okay, let's try this again. Let me try a new one here. Tunnel. All right, everything's proven me wrong today, but this is what it's supposed to do. Echo yo. Or maybe it's after. It should. Interesting. Why is it not doing that? This definitely works because it happened to me when I was using MCP Jam before. Maybe if we come back here, maybe it's because it's already registered. Let's go to plugins and let's go, what did we call it? Tunnel. Let's go ahead and refresh. Maybe it'll give an error here. All right, I'm gonna try one other thing, disconnect. and then we'll reconnect and see. This definitely works though, because it happened to me before when I was trying to use whatchamacallit, MCP Gem. Okay, where is my tunnel now? Did it literally just delete it? They've changed everything in this new UI. Okay, let's just try adding it again. So it's gonna tell me it's probably still exists. Tunnel.demo.developer.com/MCP OAuth. Yeah, already exists, but where did it go? Oh, here. No, it's like it's completely removed it. The UI in here is not so great right now. Okay, we'll do another one. I'll just call it Tunnel 2. I don't want to fight it. So let's do tunnel.demo.imdeveloper.com/MCP. Call it Tunnel 2. OAuth, yes. Create. Yeah, I think it's when it registers it that it should fail. So let's sign in. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So I learned something today. So it's only when you register it if the CIMD is not in there. You can see here it says chatgpt.com is not authorized. So I can't actually register this MCP with ChatGPT now. Now let's come back here, and if you could tell me how to do undo in Vim Fuzzy, that would be amazing, but no worries if it's not possible. I'm sure it is. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and refresh, and now it's fine. And it's gonna finish the OAuth flow, and there we go. So that's essentially what the CIMD is doing. It's like, and this is super important because like right now I'm an individual here. I'm in my personal chat GPT. I can, register MCPs or not, or remove MCPs. But an organization, if you're like, for example, we're using Claude Team subscription. I can't add an MCP or remove an MCP. So my organization decides which MCPs. And they could also decide, like if we come back to here, I don't know, the Kubernetes MCP that we're using, you can't use it on chatgpt.com, or I don't know, maybe they only want it working in Claude, or, we don't want you testing it except for maybe some people. I don't know. But basically, this is one lever. This isn't the policy. This is just saying where can the MCPs be installed. Some other things to see here. This is just for logging, because I forgot to mention as well. Oh wait, what's Fuzzy saying? Press the U if you're not in interactive mode. Undo. Oh, okay. Good to know. Okay, I learned something. Thank you. There's just like, I'm sure there's like a million shortcuts. It's just like I've slowly been accumulating them. I'm generally in the shell a lot these days in the terminal, but like, yeah, slowly learning more there. Okay, so like I was saying, this is just like log fields, but this will show you like the MCP tool calls that happen and stuff. And obviously auditing is super important. And this is something I didn't mention about the identity-aware proxy, which is what Pomerium is. Everything goes through it, so you get auditing out of the box for free. And you can choose where you want to log that, but this adding these fields here just allows us to get information about like, oh, the echo tool call was made, or why was this denied, and it'll tell you why. This stuff we'll just pass over. This is related to SSH. This is just kind of bread and butter Pomerium stuff. This is just like the data broker, that stuff we don't really need to focus on right now. The thing that's important to focus on here right now is the MCP route. So you can see here, this is not that one, this one here. Same. It's good to know when you do SSH into a box and only give nano or if you, yeah, exactly. So here's the route we've been using so far. And this is, I'm saying go to localhost 3000. It doesn't have to. I could point it to somewhere else. This is just like a tunnel, just like how you can do an ngrok. You can specify a different port. I could start in a localhost 8080 instead if I wanted to. Um, but the important things here are we want to pass the identity headers. So once you've logged in and stuff, there's some claims in this JWT. So that'll let, in terms of the OAuth flow, that lets you know who you are. We need this little bit here to just say, hey, this web route is an MCP server. And this is the important part, the policies. So when I go to access this MCP, right now, only my personal email or my work email are the emails that are allowed to access it. Now, the other thing is something called the upstream tunnel policy, and this is what dictates who can actually start that tunnel. So this here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and let's come back here. And where was it? Okay, no. All right, here. Okay, so let's just temporarily put some typos in here. I'm currently logged in as myself, not my work one, but let's just put a typo in both in case. Okay, so I'm still allowed to, this MCP, I'm still allowed to access it, but I can no longer start the tunnel. So let's come back here, zoom this in. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's gonna start the tunnel, because the tunnel basically, as long as I'm logged in, which it's the login flow through Pomerium there through the IDP, the tunnel connection will start, but I'm not going to have any upstreams. You see how there's no status here or anything now? And if we come here and go to tunnel.imdeveloper.com, it's going to say it's down now. And the reason why it's down is because I can't actually serve that upstream tunnel. This is just another policy that you can tweak. So come back here, and just to prove it, let's come back here and let's go ahead and write this. And the policies get updated automatically. The Pomerium configuration updates automatically. I'm going to refresh this now, and that's normal. But you can see it's no longer a 503 because I'm allowed to serve the tunnel. And this is just information saying, hey, I'm an MCP. So there we go. And if we come back here, all of a sudden, you're going to see I've got activity again. And again, if I turn it off, where is it here? And I come back, you can see it's gone again. Okay, let's try undo. All right, there we go. I figured it was like UN or something, so cool. U is going to be a big unlock for me because I do what I just did like all the time. And I know it's basic Vim stuff, but never too late. Okay, so just to kind of recap what we've done here so far is we've run an MCP locally. We've run it through a tunnel, which is run through Pomerium. And it also demonstrates that you get OAuth out of the box for your MCP. Like my actual MCP server has nothing about OAuth in it. All it knows is like Nick is logged in, so I'm going to go ahead and proxy him to the actual MCP server. And that's pretty much it. Now, the things that allow this to be a tunnel for this particular route is this policy. Without this, you won't be able to start the tunnel, like I said, and how we just demonstrated. And the other thing is you need to have native SSH configured for Pomerium. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and share this. Use pom.link SSH tutorial. There's a couple here. I'm going to drop this one. These are interactive courses that I've been working on. And this literally shows you just how to set up native SSH. And then the follow-up to that is using reverse tunnels with SSH. So that's this one, I think. Yeah. No, what was it? Reverse SSH. What is it? Reverse. Yeah. Cool. And this one just shows you basically everything I just walked through here. It kind of explains that whole thing to you. So I'll go ahead and drop that as well. I encourage you to check these out. They're free courses. You do have to sign up for an account on Iximuse, but like it doesn't cost anything. There are paid courses and stuff on there if that's something you want to do. But for now, basically all this, well, all the stuff I'm going to be putting out, it's all free. So that basically gives you the rundown of having a tunnel. Again, the tunnel's not what secures it. The tunnel is what gives you reachability. So it makes it public. And then there's also policies attached to it. And that's what gives you that OAuth. And like, I could easily come to this policy and I could make this open to everybody. I'm not going to do it right now, but like, basically if I make it open and I started this tunnel, literally anybody could connect to that MCP through either MCP Jam or MCP Inspector or whatever you're using. Okay. So that's kind of like two pieces. We've talked a bit about policies and we've talked about how you can just get an MCP running with tunneling. The next thing is like, once you're done, you know, with your MCP, you're like, we've got to deploy it. So let's come back here and it's going to be a web route again. It's going to look very similar to the other one. So it's right here and I'll zoom in a bit here. So that's not it. It's the one above it. Sorry, right here. Okay. So I have this other one. I've got a Docker compose. Let's actually show that. Let's do cat Docker compose. Okay, so I've got a few things in here, and we're also using Docker here, but Pomerium works in Kubernetes really well. We've got ingress controller. You can use Terraform, all that. I'm just using Docker and Docker Compose here just because it's a little more digestible if people aren't Kubernetes experts. I know I'm not yet, but it's more to just get the concepts through here. So we have a service called Pomerium running. That's the Identiware proxy. This is just a verified. We can show that real quickly just to explain what that is. But okay. So this is just like a simple app that just shows you these are the claims you have. So like I'm logged in and it says this is my email, this is the issuer, some other information, etc. This is not like you don't necessarily need this in prod. This is typically more for demo stuff. But if we come back here, oh yeah, sorry, we're in the Docker Compose. So we got Pomerium, we got a verify service, and then I just created an MCP service. And this is basically my MCP template, and I don't have a Docker image for this, so basically it just pulls it from Git and builds it here. But essentially, that's running on my, I'm doing this on DigitalOcean right now, so that's just running in the droplet. So if we come back here to the route, again, so we have this route. So this is the publicly accessible route, and this is the service or the internal resource that it's going to reach. Oh, glad to see you like Iximuse, Fuzzy. Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. It's been pretty cool building stuff out on there. I'll share it after, but there's an MCP course out, so I have the 4th lessons going out on Monday. But spoiler, it's already published. It's just going out on socials on Monday. There's a few more courses, lessons to add to that, but the idea is like you can start learning in the course and then a new one comes out every week. So again, let's look here. So we've got our public route. like I said, this is the service running in Docker. And again, we have to just say, hey, this is an MCP server. And again, there's a policy. So I'm going to go ahead and use my email again. So this is already live. So let's go to like MCP Jam or something. Or you know what? Let's just go straight into like, let's go into back into ChatGPT maybe. Let's go to, all right, let's go ahead and add another MCP. Again, super convoluted. I don't know why they switched all this, but okay. So we'll just call this MCP demo. This is the URL, and I'm gonna do /MCP. That's just where I'm serving it. It's OAuth, and I understand, and I want to continue. So now we have a deployed MCP. It's being served by Pomerium, and Pomerium's acting as an MCP gateway. And I'm going to go ahead and sign in. This should be successful. And if I refresh here, we should see those two tools again. We should see elicit and echo. Yeah. Okay, so let's come back here. Let's start a new conversation at MCP demo. I'm surprised, could have sworn ChatGPT supported elicitation, but all right. Echo sup fuzzy. Fuzzy. Why did I say fuzzy? You're getting 3 Zs. Okay. So again, this is actually hitting my Pomerium instance, which is running as an MCP gateway, and it echoed it. And we can come see this actually. And again, the policy's there. And let's just quit here for a second, and then let's go to Docker compose -f logs Pomerium. Okay, that was here. Wait, grep. I'm not doing that right. Let me get the right command here, but it's definitely in there. Let's try this again. Okay, here, wait. I've got to get better at grep. I have some examples here. Just 1 sec. Where is it? I'm going to go to my course actually and find it. Good time to link to the course too, actually. Use pom.link MCP course. I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat. Again, as of right now, there's 4 lessons in the course. And let's go ahead here. And we're going to touch on this shortly, this tools. I just want a grep. This is stuff I got to get better at. Okay. There we go. That should help. Yeah, okay. Am I doing it wrong? Okay, I'm not doing something right, but it's in the logs. Basically, here, where is it? I'm going to be lazy and just do MCP. Okay, upstream OAuth. It's in there somewhere. Anyways, I should have prepped that with that actual command. All right, let me just take a sip of water here. Okay, so we do get that logging, and why did it not find that? I do have the log set up. Okay, stop the tunnel there. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're back here. Sorry. Let's try that again. Okay, there's a lot in there. Okay. MCP. Let's do this, actually. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. It's definitely in there. I'm just doing something wrong. But anyways, let's get back to the config here. So we didn't do this before with the tunneling, but I'm going to actually change the policy here. And whoops. I've just changed the email. And I'm going to go ahead here now, and let's do a new one at MCP demo echo yo. It should deny me now. Why is it not denying me? Is it because I'm already logged in? Oh, no, that makes sense because it's the wrong route. It's the tunneling route, which would have applied to there, but okay, let's come here. All right, okay. Let's try that again. MCP demo. Whoa. Echo yo. Okay, so I changed the policy, and you can see here right away it was denied, which is good. And I feel like that should work. Okay, let's put this back. Let's quit. Okay, I'm grepping something wrong. It's definitely in there. Let's go back here. Okay, so I've changed the policy back, and I'm going to say try again. Now it should work now. So this is just something, this is the dynamic authorization in Pomerium in general that happens even without MCPs. So it's always about your context. It's not like, are you just logged in? It's like, are the policy checks still passing? In this case, I changed the email policy. All of a sudden, I couldn't call the tool. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't, I put it back, and all of a sudden I had access again. So this is like, you can literally turn the taps on and off pretty much immediately. This is a real superpower, I find, with this solution. Okay, now let me just get back to over here. Yeah, using Starship on my local. Yeah, I've got me's in there too. I've got all the all the things. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and just hide this for now. Cool. I think I might actually be missing part of my config for the logging. I think that might be why. So I'm just gonna open off screen here. Not because there's anything super secret. I just don't want to clutter the screen. But I think I've got the log fields up here. But I think I might have forgot a second part to it. So one sec here. We have the authorized log fields. That's correct. Okay. Maybe I'm missing something else. Just taking a quick peek. Log upstream, TCR. metrics. Oh, maybe, no, that shouldn't be it. Okay. I think there's something just misconfigured with my logging, but anyways, main point here is we're able to, assuming you've deployed something into your infrastructure. So in our case, we're just running the MCP server as a service in Docker, and we've created a route for it, which is this whole thing here. We've said, hey, this is an MCP server, and also a policy. Okay, next thing we're going to move on to, if we come back to, okay, yeah. We're going to talk about upstream OAuth. So far we've looked at, like, there's an MCP. Yeah, welcome to the kitchen. Yeah. So far we've looked at just an MCP server that doesn't access something, some kind of third-party stuff like GitHub or Google or whatever. So we're going to go ahead here, and this I'm going to have to do off screen because I'm going to have to put an actual client ID in secret. But essentially, we can do this with GitHub. So we can go ahead here. So like before, we just had an empty server object here. Now we're going to add this configuration. And so I'm going to go ahead and add this. And we're going to do this, like, I'm not going to redeploy this. I'm just going to do this through the tunnel, but basically assume, like, once you've built this, you would deploy it, then you would apply you'd create your route and your policies, etc. So let's come back to here. And I'm going to do this on the tunnel because that's where we're going to be working. And okay, so there we go. I think I might have to do the, okay, yeah, that should be okay. And read user mail. Is that what we have for the scopes? Let me check. All right. I'm going to go ahead and grab this off screen in a second, but essentially we're going to add some new tools here. So this will work fine right now because even though these are invalid, let's just right. Let's go start up our tunnel again. All right. And this is running. Okay. We're going to add a new tool in here. So let me just zoom down here. Okay, we got elicit, echo. Hold on a sec here. We'll just add it at the top to make it easier. Okay. This I'm going to go grab from the course I'm working on because I don't think this is out yet. So let's go ahead and just grab this. Just got to head on to Iximuse for a second. Now, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to add a tool for GitHub. It's going to be called Who Am I? And essentially that's going to, just say who you are. Trivial example, I know, but like the point is just to show upstream OAuth here. So let me just go to my dashboard, author dashboard. All right, gonna go to my draft course here. Okay, configure, yeah, upstream. Okay, cool. So let's start this. Just gonna go ahead and copy some code here. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's lesson 5, right? Hold on a sec. control. Is it this one? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we got create repo. Okay, yeah, we'll use this tool. We'll do repo, sure. Okay, so we're gonna add this new tool. So this is just called create repo. It's gonna create a repository. It expects a few things, so like full, the full name. Some stuff's not mandatory, but basically you need the repo name. And we don't have the create repo yet, so let me get that function too. Okay, let's put this down here. And this, I'm just going to do any for now. Bearer token I need to get. Here we go. Function bearer token. Where is it? Oops. There we go. I'm just going to switch this to any right now because, all right, that should all be good. Okay. So if we come back here, we basically have this tool now called create repo, and it's going to allow us to create a repository. And then we've got the other tools still. Okay, so let's just go ahead and save this. Now let's come back to MCP Jam. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the server tunnel. It's connected. Okay, so let's go to the playground. Okay, you're gonna see here, it's got this create repo now. And so basically we need the name. And so we'll call it test repo. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run this, and it's gonna fail because we don't have the upstream OAuth configured. And you're gonna see here, it says no upstream GitHub token on this request. That's expected. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. And actually another thing we need to do is in the copy paste I did here, we need to add the repo scope because that's the one I'm using. We want to be able to create. So let's do repo. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this off screen, or maybe I'll just stop sharing my screen for a second. Won't take too long, but just got to find the stream. Too many things open. Okay, this I can close probably. All right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen for a second. Oh, I can just hide it. Okay, cool. All right, let me go ahead and just configure this properly with OAuth for the upstream OAuth. So essentially, I'm gonna go ahead and create a GitHub OAuth app, kind of out of scope of MCPs in general, but like the course will talk about this if you want to take a peek. But basically, I'm just going to github.com. I'm going to my settings and then developer settings. And I can probably show this part actually. Yeah, so basically you come to your developer settings. I'm going to reuse an existing one, but basically I'm going to edit this, and there's a few things you need to do. You need to do the callback URL, and you need to generate a client secret, and you'll have a client ID. But that's essentially what you do. Okay, I'm gonna just hide this for a minute while I go ahead and do that. And If I expose the secret after, I will be revoking it immediately. Okay, let's go ahead and edit this. Got my client ID. Okay, that's in. We're gonna get the client secret. Let's go ahead and regenerate that. Yes, I will use my passkey. Okay, that's good. All right, that all looks good. I'm just gonna quit that, and I just need to do the callback URL. So 1 second. The tunnel, yeah, there. All right, should be good. All right, update application. Cool. All right, let's bring it back. Okay, so if we come back to the MCP Jam Inspector, I have created, I've configured, if we come back here to Pomerium, so I've added a client ID, I've added the client ID secret, I've added scopes. I added the repo scope because the tool we created is called create repo and it needs that scope. And you just still here, just cook it in the background. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I've configured the callback URL, which should be correct. So if we come back here now, this should work. So let's just say, I might already have a test repo called test repo. So let's just say test repo 123. Let's go ahead and run this, moment of truth. Do I have to, oh, I might have to refresh it. Let's see here. Refresh tools, no, maybe reconnect. Okay. OAuth succeeded, but connection test failed, finishing setup. Interesting. Tunnel MCP, OAuth. Don't need any of that there. Interesting. What does it not like? OAuth succeeded, but connection test failed. Refresh tools. Okay, I clearly broke something, so let me check my config. I'm gonna take it off screen. Just 1 sec here. That looks good. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. Oh, I've got a literal letter V in it in the config, which might have been like, I don't know what that came from, but okay, escape, right, quit. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go to connect. Literally a spelling mistake. All right. Connected. Okay, this is from before, so let's just reconnect. Okay, there we go. We're good. I literally had a V in the property for some reason. We should have the tools here now. We can bring this back over here. Okay, so we've got our tools back. Let's just do a sanity check. So hello. Okay, that's good. Now let's go ahead and let's try the create repo. And we'll just say QWERTY 9000. I'm going to go ahead and run it. What did I forget? Create repo, no upstream token on this request. did I forget something in the config? Let's see here. Gonna do another double check. That looks good. Pass identity headers. Let's just double check here. MCP, oh, I am very silly. It's config. I don't have the server property. I just had all the upstream config. Okay. Let's do this. Dun, 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 dun. It's either config or DNS. Okay. Let's come back here. Let's just test the connection again. Reconnect. Okay, so it did the login. So now it's just my 404. Why is it not like that? Authorize client. Okay, this is just my whatchamacallit, my callback URL. So let's sort that out. We can come back here. We can actually go to the settings now. The client ID won't be exposed, so it's fine. You'll see my client ID, but I'll just delete this after. So what's wrong with this callback? Let's ask Mr. Claude. It's 100% my callback. Is this the wrong callback URL? I'm getting this. Oh, it's going to localhost. Oh, I know what it is. Preserve headers, I think. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Just config. The difference here is like for my home lab, I have a bunch of this in 0. So I'm usually doing this through the UI and I just go preserve headers, but like, let's just do one more check. Pomerium, preserve headers. Where is it? Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, I just need to put that on the route. Almost there. It's the beauty of live coding. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. There, true. All right. Okay, let's come back here one more time. Let's go connect, reconnect. Does it still have a local host in there? No, okay. I'm just gonna disconnect it because it's definitely in there. Configure tunnel MCP. Let's go ahead and save. The slash isn't necessary. I'm just, okay, connected with OAuth. I think it's all good now. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to the playground, loading tools. Come on, you can do it. YOLO 9000. Okay, but it did do the GitHub OAuth flow before, so I'm wondering what's going on here. Let's try a refresh, reconnect. Okay, it's still going to here. It's still going to localhost. That's the issue. Okay. Oh my God, I know what I did. I didn't put it, I don't think I put it on the right route. What's it? Oh no, it's on the right route. So preserve host header true. Wonder if I need to restart it. All right, I'm gonna cat the whole thing here. And I'm just gonna bring this into my editor for a second. Okay. There. All right, let's get this whole thing. Okay, we can bring this back on. And I'm just gonna sort this out. Preserve host. Does it not have it there? Interesting. Let me see here. Preserve routes and policy. Routes server name. Interesting. The weird thing is what it should be preserve host header because it's clearly doing localhost here, but like here. Because if I come in here and let's just see here, should be fine if wait a localhost. Yeah, so if I come here, tunnel.iamdeveloper.com/MCP. What is it not liking? All right, why is this? Should definitely be preserve host headers. Okay, let me just hide my screen for a sec. Okay, that's this. Okay, we'll say obfuscated. Obfuscated. Just gonna get rid of a few things here. Okay, nothing else is really okay. All right, that should be okay. So let's bring this back over here. Let's go ahead and show the screen again. Okay, and let's see here. Oh, I got two tunnels running. Okay, clear. For this config, why is GitHub giving 404 on the redirect. This is the callback URL in the OAuth app. Let's go ahead and get that again. And it gives me this is where it ends up. The upstream OAuth flow. Okay, let's just check while that's searching. Tunnel, preserve, host header, true. Actually, it is. Okay, it's the wrong one, but what am I missing? Client. Oh, I missed a dot Pomerium. Son of a. All right. Let's just go ahead and update that. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Did we do it? We will see. We will see. Okay. All right, let's go back to connect. It's always config. All right, let's connect here. Let's reconnect. Come on. Oh, wait, did I save it? Yes. I updated it to this, but still. Oh, not, I did HTTP. Are you serious? No, that should be fine there. Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay, so it's using tunnel. Okay, that's right. Resource is still localhost though. Why? Why is the resource? Okay, there. Just trying to think about this. Okay, that's fine. That's me just clicking stuff. Let's see here. All right, you're too slow, Claude, but this is worth digging into properly than guessing. Let me have the Pomerium specialist. I work at Pomerium. Let's see here. Hold on a sec. What else could it be? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and try this in ChatGPT again. So let's do, hold on a sec, personal. Let's add it again. Tunnel 3, nope, HTTPS. tunnel.imdeveloper.com/MCP OAuth, yes, demo. I can definitely show this in mine if not, but because it's definitely config somewhere. I'm just not sure what. Okay, sign in. Okay, so it's, yeah, what is wrong? Okay, yeah, it's just pulling the repo. What am I doing wrong? That's still running. That's good. I guess allow reading. Just wondering what, it's clearly in the redirect. What the heck is wrong? It shouldn't matter for the site URL. Like if we come back here, like the homepage URL shouldn't matter. I'll update that anyways, but that's not it. Should it be this maybe? Cannot get, yeah, okay. No, that's it. So client OAuth callback. Is that really it? Just trying to think what I have, because before I didn't have .pomerium in it. I'm gonna take it out again just to see. No. It's definitely that, because it's say bad state, that's correct. What else? Oh my God, I know what it is. It's, I have to put /MCP in it. Okay. Oh man, it's just something silly. Okay, one sec. I remember this. Did not need Claude for that. All right. Cat VI. Can't believe it's just that. Okay. From to /MCP. /MCP. Okay, let's try it now. Okay. Let's come back here. Okay, let's try this again. MCP jam, let's jam, come on. Connect, okay. Edit. Save changes. Okay. Hold on a sec. Reconnect. Ah! Okay. I'm not going to waste too much time on this because I already have. But I'm going to show you in my own config, essentially. Well, essentially, we basically, let me load it up, actually. I'll hide my config partially. Just 1 second. And after this, I think we'll wrap it up because that's like at an hour and a half. MCP. Okay, nice. It's hidden. Never mind. Okay. I think I added that a while ago. Oh, you know what? I'm actually just going to go ahead and look at my other one and look at the, I'm going to look at the callback. That would make more sense. Hold on a sec. Because I have a GitHub MCP server running in my home lab. So I probably should have just looked at that right away. Home lab. It looks pretty much the same. Okay, but let me check one other thing. Okay, what's the route look like? Okay, there. All right, we'll check one more thing and then I'll just show what we have here, if not. Okay, that is it. Okay. And then what else? Okay, so no /MCP there. So let's fix that in my config. No MCP. Okay. And let's come back to here. Where is it? Okay, let's show. A little frustrating, but it happens. Okay, let's configure. And this should be /MCP now. Okay. And also, let's make sure the tunnel is running still. Okay, server is running. I'm just gonna, just for good measure, server's running. We'll start the tunnel again. Shouldn't change anything, but okay, that's good. This I don't need. Okay, everything should be there. Save changes. Okay. It looks successful, but God damn it. Okay. We'll leave it as is, but I will just basically show you what happens in another one. So here we go. This is in Pomerium 0. This is my GitHub MCP. So another thing we're not going to have time to cover. Basically, I'm actually we're doing what's called MCP bridging here. So I have MCP configuration, but I'm basically connecting to the GitHub. I'm connecting to the GitHub MCP, but it requires an upstream OAuth app that you have to configure. So this is all right. If we go to the MCP, I'm not showing anything here really. There's the client secret's hidden. The auth URL, that's right. Maybe those should be fine. Authentication style in header. Or repo, read user, that's all fine. Yeah. Also, hey, Violated Sign, good to see you. Yeah, no, definitely down to see a cool project, man. Oh, nice, using 0, cool. And you needed traffic for SNI with Coolify. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. No, definitely would love to hear about it. Also, it's been a minute, man. Good to see you. Okay, so everything here seems fine, I guess. But let's just do it with mine then, I guess. So let's use, what's my MCP called here? And this is the part I was going to show after, but essentially you can bridge the MCP. So instead of using a actual uh, like an MCP in your infrastructure, this is a third party. So this is the GitHub MCP, and I'm exposing it through this from route. And then I have some MCP config here, and basically I have the client secret and the uh, client ID, and obviously some scopes and stuff. And you might be wondering, like, who cares? You can do this in ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. So like if you come here and we go to the convoluted place to find things, uh, where was it? Back, ah, personalized plugins, browse plugins. Okay. So let me zoom this in here. So you can literally do that here. So you can just say like GitHub MCP, you know, put in the URL, and then, okay, it doesn't like that. So, okay, so we can say it's OAuth, and then there's this custom settings section. Now, this is this, okay, yeah, okay. I have to put a real one, sure. Okay, but the point here is in this advanced OAuth settings, you can essentially do bridging here. So you can put the OAuth client ID and secret, and that will work. But the thing is, you're gonna have to do this in every MCP client, not just in ChatGPT. So maybe that's not that big a deal. But the thing you're gonna lose here is because what Pomerium offers here is you get fine-grained tool call access, and that's something that you can't do with this. Like, you'll bridge it here, but then all of a sudden you basically have the broad scopes, which are the you know, like the repo scope. You can basically have access to all the tools. And in my case, I'd like to maybe, you know, in my org, everybody can create pull requests, but they can't merge it. So let's just go ahead and look at that real quickly. I'm going to do this. We're going to do two things. So I showed you the bridging, which is essentially just that config there. And then now let's go ahead and look at the policies. So, all right, I'm going to remove this for now, but basically I'm going to go to my GitHub MCP, and let's go ahead and register this in ChatGPT. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's just I'm totally comfortable live coding. It's just frustrating that it's not picking up, because it's literally just the redirect, and then it would be working. It'd be like golden, but you know, happens sometimes. Uh, but basically, we're gonna come in here, and this is the default GitHub one, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna disconnect this one. I don't want to use the one that comes with ChatGPT. And okay, so I have the GitHub Home Lab one. Is this it? Okay, yeah. So I've already got it configured. Let me just reconnect. It almost looks like Gnome Lab. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign in. What's the redirect URI? Ah! I think I gotta update it maybe. The redirect URI. Okay, OV. Okay, give me one sec here. We're definitely a little closer here. GitHub Maison Lab. 405. Interesting. Let me make sure this is up and running. Oh, did I rename it? Let me go ahead and double check here. GitHub MCP. Don't tell me like GitHub's down or something. Okay, wait. GitHub MCP. It's the wrong URL now. Proponent, I'm trying to type too fast, LOL. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so did they change the URL for the GitHub MCP? Okay, that's right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me come back here. That's good. Save route. Okay. Now let's come back to le chat GPT. Okay, let's do this again. Connect. Bro. Okay, what's wrong here? GitHub maisonlab.dev. 401, that's fine. / MCP. Chaos, just chaos. Okay. Let's see here. Let's double check. Okay, let's just check one thing first. Let's just register this in VS Code. Get HTTP, MCP, GitHub MCP, global. Okay, start. Should do an OAuth flow. Continue. Okay. Now, a couple things I'll mention here is, okay, this is set up now, so that seems to be working. The thing here is, notice that you didn't have to add an upstream OAuth client, and that's because there's one baked into VS Code or the GitHub Copilot. But I just want to, my GitHub Copilot is maxed for the month. But anyways, okay, that's good. And if we come here, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So we validated that's good. Pass identity headers, yes. GitHub maisonlab.dev, that's good. Just gonna do it fresh. This was working though, because I'm doing / MCP. Is it because they 404 on purpose? That's fine, yeah. Okay, I guess we can do that. All right. I'll probably cut this soon, but I think something changed with that. But let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's just delete this. And actually, we can probably even do this in MCP Jam. Okay, let's go back in here. Playground, connect. Okay, we're just gonna delete everything. Just chaos, just chaos. Okay. And let's put the github.maisonlab.dev / MCP. Add server. Oh yeah, would help if I authorize. Continue. Okay, that's actually okay. This is the CIMD issue from before. I just need to add this to my Pomerium config in my home lab. This is better. Okay, let's go to settings. And where was it? MCP. Let's add another one. Save settings. At least there I know what's going on. Okay, let's refresh. No, wrong one. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, down here. The redirect, what? Okay, what is the redirect? What is wrong here? Repo, read, blah, blah, blah. Auth authorize. Okay, interesting. GitHub. Let's go look at this URL. We'll probably wrap it up here in a sec. I think the only other thing I want to show is denying a tool call. So let's just look at this. GitHub Maison lab.dev resource. Okay, that all looks correct. Preserve host headers, maybe. Let's try that. Hold on. If not, I think something might have changed that I'm gonna chat with my coworker after, but let's go to the route. GitHub MCP headers. Preserve. Let's try that again. Okay, reconnect. Nope. Let's see here. Resource. I think I know what might be up, but let's see here. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on it right now because I think there's something that might have changed that I have to chat with my coworker, like I said. But let's do one final thing here, which is just show rejecting a specific tool call. So just gonna remove that config so we can just get back to what we're doing. There we go. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right, now we can bring back showtime. Okay, so let's go back. We've got, this is still running. We've got our tunnel. That's cool. Okay, so let's just go back to MCP Jam. I'm just going to close a bunch of stuff. Close other tabs because we got too much stuff going on here. And let's do MCP Jam. Okay, let's go. Let's delete this. Okay, yeah, remove server. Let's add one. And we'll just call this tunnel again. And we're going to do HTTPS tunnel.imdeveloper.com/MCP auto, but it should detect OAuth. Okay, authorize, continue. There we go. We're back. Let's go to the playground. OAuth succeeded, but connection test failed. Okay, what's going on? Here, I'm gonna undo the tools we added. Don't save. Let's just undo this. Let's undo all the things. Let's save that. This should have restarted. Yeah, okay, that just restarted. I got rid of the other tools we had. Tunnel is running, right? Let's just start fresh for everything. Okay, tunnel status active, unknown. Tunnel there. Okay, that's good. All right. I think we're in a better place now. So let's come back here. Let's reconnect. Okay. Tunnel connected successfully, no errors. Okay, we're back. We're back, baby. Okay. So let's just do this again. So hello. Okay. everything's working like expected. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to deny a tool call. So let me go grab that. Where is it? Just want to grab the exact syntax. Yeah, okay, perfect. And that's under deny. Okay, cool. So let's come over here now. Let's over here. Okay. We still got the upstream here. Okay. Okay, we got to do that again. Okay, that's all lined up. And basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to say echo. Right. So basically, everything should work still, like in terms of if I come back here and I come back to connect and I reconnect, it's going to say, hey, yeah, you're good. You're allowed to access this MCP. We're connected. Come back to the playground. Still see the tools. Now let's go ahead and try this one. Don't fail me now. Let me double check that I did it on the tunnel. Yes, it's on the tunnel. Okay. It's going to be like, tried to give it a go. Where to go? Hold on a sec. Okay, it's failing. It can't do it in here. Let's go in ChatGPT and do it. It doesn't seem to be outputting that it's failing, but it's not outputting it now because like if we come back here and let me just change this, I'm just gonna. Would have thought MCP Jam would have shown it. Okay, see now it's echoing, and if I put it back and I run it again, it's just not doing it. Like if I clear this and run it again, so let's see the trace. Sample trace. I don't want a sample trace. I haven't used the trace tool, but let's see here. Rate. No, that's not what I want. Let's see. Where can I show it here? Output. No. I'll show it in ChatGPT just so you see the actual error. But basically, the main point here is, if we come back to this, is by adding another policy for tools, you can actually be laser focused. So didn't get to it because some kind of redirect issue, but basically in the example of GitHub, for example, if I have the repo scope, I have access to all the tools that the repo scope can do, right? Now, that's maybe fine. Hey, Danny, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Yeah, so basically with the repo scope that I have for the GitHub MCP, it basically allows me to have access to all the tools that the repo scope allows. Now, the GitHub MCP, there is things you can do, like you can say, like, I only want to allow these certain tools. But the thing with that is this is something you do at deploy time. It's not dynamic. With the identity-aware proxy, with Pomerium running as the MCP gateway, you still have that repo scope, but you can get fine-grained tool authorization. So I can say, like, yeah, you're still good, bro, to create repos, create a pull request. But when it comes to the merge request tool, sorry, no dice. You got to go to github.com. We want you as a human to go on github.com and actually read through it and then approve it and then merge it, maybe. So that's what you can do here. Like, this is obviously a very simple example. I'm just excluding one tool here. I'm going to look into why the GitHub redirect wasn't working, because that's like kind of frustrating for me. But I do want to show the course here again. I'll link to this again, but basically there's an MCP course out now. It's free. It's on Iximuse. There's 3 chapters technically according to socials, but I published the 4th lesson last night. It'll go out on socials on Monday saying that the 4th lesson is published. But essentially, I'll be adding 3 more lessons, and they'll be more focused on MCP apps at the end. But right now I might as well just show it. MCP course. Just drop it in the chat here again. Also good to see you, Danny. So yeah, so the MCP course has 4 lessons right now. So there's the tunneling, which is what we did at the beginning of the live stream. So you can kind of see this in action. The other ones are, if we come back, how to secure it. So this is how we showed putting your MCP into production using Pomerium as the gateway. And the thing with all these interactive guides is all the infrastructure is in the playground in the web browser if you've never used Iximuse. But you can also complete the lesson, and then the MCP server that you built has a public URL. You can test it in ChatGPT or another MCP client if you want. The course doesn't require you to have a paid subscription for anything. What it does is, like I said, all the infra. It also removes the friction of setting up infra for this. You just go through the guide. But we use the MCP inspector at the end, and it just kind of goes over, like if I show the examples here. So you see here, you'll be running stuff in the MCP tools, which inspector, which is similar to MCP Jam. MCP inspector is the OG. But basically this means you can learn about MCPs, you can learn how to tunnel with it, you can actually test the MCP without having to pay anything. Even Iximuse, it's a platform where you can have a paid account and you get access to other courses as well. But everything in this MCP course is free. All you have to do is just sign up for a free account on Iximuse. That said, it's a really great platform. Like I've been using it to learn some infra stuff. And yeah, okay. So I think that's a good place to wrap up. The one thing I did want to show real quick is we'll just do it in ChatGPT real quick. Plugins. Do I have the tunnel? Reconnect. Tunnel 2. Is this it? Okay. Yeah, so we've got the 2 tools here. Okay. So here, let's do this again. Okay, so at tunnel 2, echo hello. Or you know what? Echo sup Danny. So it's going to go ahead and make the tool call. Remember, this is running through the tunnel over here. Open and close. Okay, it says it was denied. Okay, now the reason why it was denied is because I don't think I removed the policy. Yeah, so we still have the deny here. So this is, I don't know why MCP Jam wasn't showing it, but you can see here, I have access to this MCP, but all of a sudden I'm turning the taps on and off for specific tools. And again, just to prove it, let's just put a typo in here. Let's call it echoey. That's right. And I'm going to say try again. Let's see what the kids got. Should be able to make the tool call now. So there we go. So we saw having OAuth through the MCP gateway, giving you access to the MCP, but for certain individuals, you could actually restrict certain tool calls. And I don't know if anybody has ChatGPT ready right now or access to add an MCP, but if you want, I could enable it for you. But if not, we can do that another day. Cool. That said, because Danny's in the chat there, I'm going to be speaking at Commit Your Code as well. And I'm going to be talking about MCPs. So I don't know where the speakers are. Here we go. Yeah, so going to be talking about MCP apps. So if you want to check that out, and if you can get to Texas, it'd be cool to see you there. Cool. All right, and we'll just leave it off here with use Well, I can't hide type. You kidding me? Oh, search, is that why? It's one of those days. So check out the course. Like I said, there's about 3 lessons left. And also, if you're interested in the capabilities of Pomerium as an MCP gateway, I encourage you to check out the short link here for MCP. And I think that's a good place to wrap up. And we'll see you in the next one. I'm definitely going to get down to the bottom of why those redirects weren't working in the GitHub OAuth app. But aside from that, yeah, thanks for hanging, everybody. And we will see you in the next one.